The Walt Disney Company is firing back at Nelson Peltz, and they've chosen to do it with an old school political mudslinging ad. Let's talk about that on That Park Place. Hello and good morning. I am Jonas J. Campbell, an investigative reporter for That Park Place. I say good morning. This is coming out in the afternoon. Vash, are you doing all right, man?
I'm doing okay. I'm doing okay. Just, you know, there's been a lot of stories that have come out in like the last 24 hours that we're trying to catch up on. So hopefully we do our viewers a service by that.
Yeah, I hope so too. This is one that when I saw it, it jumped to the top of the line. We were talking about what to cover today. There's a parks chief that just left the company, and that is huge news. There is that Disney got defeated at the Oscars. That is pretty big news, or maybe it's not as big news as it used to be. The next greatest animated feature of the next few years, that being the Mario movie, that could jump to the head of the line. But no, when I saw this, I thought, oh no, Disney has become truly desperate. Over on the VoteDisney.com site, the Disney company has released an ad today on Monday, March 11th, to fight Mr. Nelson Peltz. And you just kind of have to see it to believe it. So let's talk about this. Oh my goodness. You just have to hear it.
What's the harm of letting activist investor Nelson Peltz or Jay Rizzullo have a seat on Disney's board? The answer is simple. If they succeed,
first of all, this is like they're going to change the politics in America. What's the harm of having Nelson Peltz and Jay Rizzullo on the board? They will choke puppies.
Yes, this is the political ad. This is Bob Iger running for office right here. I mean, that's an astounding observation there, Jonas, because that's exactly what this is. It is so funny. Getting the unflattering photographs and with the music, the little piano score right behind there, with the dark, heavy voice, not their usual voice, not the happy-go-lucky voice
not
from
the
parks.
Coming soon to Disney DVD. This is just this is a very dark time, as if Disney is going to ignore all of the problems that they've had over the last 10 years that Bob Iger has created. They're going to go for this as if they're corporate raiders. We have to continue because there is so much to go through here. We're not going to go through it all, but let's just talk about this.
Sure.
Board. The answer is simple.
That's also funny that they pull this quote. They don't say who it's from. They don't say who is the source of the quote. But also, if you look at Peltz's 130-page white paper, there are a bunch of people who fought Peltz on proxy fights that said that if they were reforming that company from scratch today, they would definitely have Peltz on the board. So I don't know. Please bring a citation.
If they succeed, Disney could suffer the same fate as other great companies.
By the way, that stock trending down, that is what Disney is doing, generally speaking, right now.
Okay.
They're having a big moment.
No. Yeah.
Exactly. Yes. I'm not going to put the Cartman clip in here, but maybe Pro can play it for himself when he watches this video.
Right. That Peltz has previously infiltrated, such as GE and DuPont.
By the way, DuPont, I do believe they won their proxy fight, and guess what happened? The CEO got kicked out, and I don't think they did very well after. So they're taking examples of proxy fights or proxy contests that were proposed by Peltz and were lost by Peltz. If you look at companies that Peltz won that proxy fight at, generally speaking, those companies are doing multiplication factors more, not additive, but multiplicative. So, okay, Bob.
Nelson Peltz has
of course, that picture.
a long history of attacking companies.
Also, these companies, the ones that are going gray here, Mondelez, Kraft Heinz, Wendy's, Cadbury, they're doing pretty well. P&G doing pretty well.
To the ultimate detriment of shareholder value. His quest also seems more about vanity than a belief in Disney.
Who's the one who's... I got to say, when Disney releases a statement about this proxy fight, whose vanity do you think they're going after? Is it Walt Disney's vanity that they're protecting? Is it Walt Disney's legacy that they're protecting? They'll evoke that.
Yeah.
But who are they generally praising when they release their materials. We'll see in a moment. But
it's Bob Iger. This is kind of the funny thing about this. This is confession through projection. This is about Bob Iger's vanity more than it is Nelson Peltzer or Jay Rasulo.
Why else would he sell 500,000 Disney shares over the past 6 months?
That's also only a third of what Bob Iger has sold. Iger has sold 6 million shares or something like that. So who are we saying doesn't have faith in the financial future of the company?
Exactly.
In the middle of his proxy fight. Plus, he has no media expertise and no experience in running a global entertainment company powered by creativity.
I'm just going to repeat what Nelson Peltz said. If creative experience is what produces Disney movies right now, then he would say that it's a plus that he doesn't have creative experience.
Well, think about the last 3 images they just showed. It's all Parks and Imagineering. Okay, so who on the board has any experience with this sector primarily? Yeah, anybody? Anybody?
Nobody on the board. And also, they just fired the head of Walt Disney Sorry, they didn't fire her. She just left and announced it in the early hours on a weekend. And they don't have a replacement for her.
Correct.
So they didn't fire her, but she's no longer at the company, and they haven't named her replacement yet.
They said I have no media experience. I don't claim to have any.
Okay. And
then there's Jay Rasulo, a former Disney employee who was passed over for a promotion nearly a decade ago.
All right. That would also include Kevin Mayer, Tom Staggs.
And what promotion was that? Was that the CEO of the company?
Yeah. Bob Iger has been renewed 6 times. So if we list all the people that have been passed over for the CEO position because Bob Iger has refused to leave that position,
right?
We would have enough people to staff the entire Magic Kingdom for the day.
Yeah.
He hasn't been employed since leaving Disney, and the last time he joined the board of a media company, the stock tanked.
That was a tanking company that he joined the board of to help them. So, okay, sure. And by the way, Bob Iger, what have you done here? Short of Nelson Peltz showing up to raise the stock price in speculation that he was going to enter the company and, let's say, fix some of the problems you created. What has Bob Iger done that has had sustaining impact on the stock price? If we're just approaching this from the stock price standpoint.
That's a good point. That's a good question.
What's more, Peltz and Rasulo have teamed up with another disgruntled former employee, Ike Perlmutter, who has his own lengthy record of destructive behavior inside Disney. Perlmutter has a
yeah, okay. So let's address that. First of all, Perlmutter has built Marvel into what it is today until he sold it to Disney, and he held on to his shares. So he's saying he doesn't want representation. Sorry, he doesn't want to be a manager of the company. He also was supposedly laid off until he came out. He came out and said, "No, I wasn't laid off. I was fired because I disagree with Bob Iger." If you only count the people who have remained there, well, the company is not doing well, and they all agree with Iger. So take from that what you will.
Sure.
So,
well-documented grudge with Disney CEO Bob Iger. This sort of personal animus in the boardroom is more than disruptive. It can be destructive, especially at this critical time when, despite all...
And here they come with the big swelling music and talking about Bob Iger is the hero we all deserve.
All of these distractions, Bob Iger and his management team have...
By the way, Moana Journey of Water, is that where they are right now?
Yes.
Engineered an ambitious...
That is an attraction that is busted.
Badly, by the way. So badly that they're having to redo major portions of that attraction. And it still smells like sewage, by the way.
Yep.
It's planned to build Disney's future.
It almost looked like they were building Super Mario Land there for a second. This is the Zootopia Land that's over in Shanghai. Right. I guess they said they turned a profit on this one. No word on if that's coming to the United States. But there was an incident on one of the ride vehicles recently there. We won't get into, but I hope the child is okay.
Yes.
Positioning the company for a new era of sustained growth and value creation.
The last thing that we need right now is to be distracted in terms of our time, our energy by an activist or activists.
In fiscal 2024, they expect cash flow to exceed initial projections and have set it
to exceed projections that they set. By the way, they've fallen on They have made more money and delivered less earnings per share. So if you're watching this as a shareholder who's only interested in money, Iger's not the way to go. We've done comparisons of Value Act, which supports Bob Iger versus Nelson Peltz. Value Act is saying, no, more cable bundling. No, we need to monetize the parks even more. Whereas Peltz has said, we're over-earning in the parks and they're getting a little long in the tooth, meaning they're earning a lot of money, but they're not maintaining the parks. I was also noting that they've kneecapped Disney Plus by lowering costs and lowering marketing spend, but not added anything that will bring people in the future, other than making deals with cable companies, which are basically saying we're going to take our cable deals and take some of that money and push it over to Disney Plus in order to prop it up and pretend it's profitable. That is kicking the ball down the field, but it is still not enough to get it over the end zone.
Right, and they will move heaven and earth in order to make it profitable in Q4 of this year. That's absolutely for certain. But at what cost will you have done this? And is that necessarily a sustainable practice, especially if you keep shifting accounting in all these various directions in order to achieve that number? That's going to be the big question going forward here. But I love this part of the video. Like you said, it's like the did you ever see Terminator 2 3D back in the parks, right?
T2 3D? Yes, right, I love T2 3D.
It's like
Cyberdyne.
with the whole whole entry montage.
Creating a better future for you.
That kind of stuff, right?
Vash, I've never seen this side of you.
Yeah, yes, I do channel that energy right there occasionally. But you can... It kind of follows that same kind of theme. It's like, is this a better future? We kind of know how this story ends, and unfortunately, if this trend continues for the Walt Disney Company, it will have been the same way. Maybe not with the mass destruction and nuclear chaos, but just a bad point for this company.
I think they, well, obviously Ron DeSantis has taken the ability to build a nuclear power plant away from the Walt Disney Company. So hopefully they're not still running ahead with that one. All right, let's continue.
Please.
A target of $3 billion in stock repurchases. The board also declared a cash dividend of 45 cents per share, an increase of 50%.
An increase of 50% off of a low dividend.
Yes.
Okay.
Versus the last dividend paid. After a year of significant fixing that made way for a new era.
Wait. What did they fix? The fixing? Did they fix the Tron ride?
Yeah, yeah. What did they fix? They cut $7.5 billion, which Lou Wasserman's Ghost has pointed out. Why did you have that that on the books for so long? Why didn't you do something before? They cut all thousands of employees, and they're still cutting today, like you just said before. And Barbara Bosa from the parks has been, she has left her position, right? And then you have Sean Bailey. These are recent things, even after you have Iger saying, "Oh, we're done with the fixing. We're here for the building." What are you talking about? You're still fixing.
Yeah, they really have not fixed. Toontown is still not up to snuff. Things are falling apart. Just go look at the Carousel of Progress. If you're one of these people that thinks that Walt Disney's legacy is served by the current Walt Disney Company that bears his name, go look at Carousel of Progress. See if all the audio tracks are working today. See if John has his hands attached to his animatronic body today. That is well. I'll leave that where it is. Let's continue here so that we don't have too long of a video.
Of building for growth, the Walt Disney Company has turned a corner and is focused on creating lasting long-term value.
Oh, here's one. They're going to put Hulu on Disney Plus. Well, guess what? Hulu is profitable. Disney Plus is not. So, and in markets where Hulu and Disney Plus are under the same name, as in they're both under Disney Plus, they make half the amount of money that they make when Hulu is off on its own. So what does that say to the strength of the Disney brand?
Absolutely, 100%.
This value is reflected in the recent...
Sorry, Vash.
No, they also don't bring up... But did they bring up the Spulu thing in here at all?
I don't think they do. They better not, because that one is under heavy scrutiny by regulators.
100%. Also, too, by executives attached to the project, right? They're saying, well, we're going to have 5 million users in the first 5 years. That ain't going to cut it.
It's definitely not going to cut it. They're going to get back on this streaming train and try to pretend like they're profitable. If they think that shareholders are just addicted to getting on this streaming roller coaster over and over and over again, when there are other options out there, if you have an index fund that is tracking everything except entertainment, again, no financial advice. I think it's done better over the last few years if you just remove entertainment from your index fund. So
exactly.
Anyways, here's Frozen. I think they're going to do Frozen 3, 4, and maybe they'll announce a live action one. That'll be fun. That was sarcasm. They are doing Frozen 2, 3, and 4, but I don't know. They haven't announced a live action yet.
Awesome. Great.
Stock performance, improved operating income.
Oh, they by the way, they based this right here when Nelson Peltz announced that he was getting into a proxy fight. And then the stock started going up. So, Bob, where's the thank you to Nelson Peltz for that one?
As well as the strategic moves recently made by the company, such as the collaboration and equity stake in.
They overpaid for a stake in Epic Games so that Epic will make a mode. By the way, I don't know that Lego mode is successful yet, as in financially successful yet. It has promise, but we are yet to see whether or not this is going to be a successful collaboration. And Disney has already announced that they're going to spend $1.5 billion to acquire a stake in a video game company. Disney IP is not an automatic success in the video game industry.
Correct.
If we look at Disney Plus, if we look at LucasArts, if we look at other Disney games, that it's not necessarily Disney that moves these, it's the developer. Epic is a good developer, but this is an asterisk right here.
Correct. Oh, absolutely. And I love the quote from Bob Iger's Morgan Stanley conference right there, suggesting that, they're using their own money. Well, wait a minute. You're paying them for that, though. So
yeah.
Wait a minute. What? We're still using company money. Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah. You bought 1.5 billion of them, and then they're going to pay for it. Yeah. Okay. And who's going to pay for the wall? Anyways, let's move on.
Epic Games, the upcoming release of Moana 2.
Moana 2 is a TV show that they announced that they realized that Moana was the most successful item on their streaming service, other than Bluey, which, by the way, they don't make Bluey. And the people who made Moana, as in John Lasseter and Ron Musker and Clements and Musker, that worked on this. Don Hall, I believe he's also left the company. Or maybe he hasn't. I've seen a lot of indications that he is not respected there the way that he used to be.
Right.
What was the name? Lin-Manuel Miranda, also not attached to this. When they announced this movie, it was a TV show, and they are now taking the next 6 months to try to refit it into a movie. So is Moana 2 something that looks good on paper so that Disney can continue its headline chasing? Sure. Or is this going to be a movie that stands the test of time? I right now I would put it next to Bambi 2 and Hunchback of Notre Dame 2.
Yeah, no, I think that's exactly what it looks like. But you're really putting a franchise at risk here by doing this stuff in the 11th hour, by having a new director that's never directed a film before, especially on the scale to do this. Moving it up to Vancouver with a team that hasn't even coalesced yet. 400 people. We've said before that has increased by 400% from 100 originally back a year and a half ago to now 400. There's a lot of moving, spinning plates here,
right?
And you just kind of wonder whether that's all going to, stay up in the air,
right? And also, I'll say you can have the best creatives in the world, and if you give them 6 months to make something that should take 5 years to make, I don't think that it's going to produce the quality that it should. I wish that their first foray into making a Disney animated feature was under at least reasonable circumstances.
Yes, absolutely. And it's up against Wicked, by the way.
That's very true.
Taylor Swift's The Eras Tour coming to Disney Plus.
Again, Disney didn't make it. They just overpaid for it.
And more. The Disney board is always open to good ideas from engaged shareholders. But
this is actually false. And is provable if you follow the SEC statements about they are only open to ideas of people that agree with them. Do I need to bring up the Mason Morfitt slides that are essentially a crayon drawing of how Bob Iger is doing a good job? It's 19 light pages. 5 of those pages are title cards or disclaimers that they have to put on any financial statement.
That's the Value Act one.
Yeah. It's just not Not good work. But
No.
here, let's continue.
A quick glance at Peltz's white paper will reveal a surprising number of questionable proposals that
Please.
Oh, quick
please-
glance.
Please name the questionable proposals. I wasn't gonna go over here and do this, but again, if you go over and you look at his white paper here, it's 133 pages
I think-
of business analysis.
And they want you to do a quick glance, Jonas. They don't want you reading too deep into this. They just take a quick glance, and you'll see how it's not necessarily the most strategic or best sounding proposals, whatever they said. Look, there is a number of things wrong with this company, as illustrated so eloquently by the white papers. You should take a good look at that before you actually cast your vote. Obviously, not financial advice, all of that, but the attacks for Nelson Peltz and his plans or his assessment of the company is just foolish.
I would like for them to point out what the inaccuracies are too, because that would actually be helpful to the conversation. It would be helpful to the side of truth to say, oh, well, you said this and we say this. Okay. If you're having a disagreement on the points, then that shows that you have maturity here, as opposed to creating an evil political attack ad. Nelson Peltz murdered Jay Rasulo.
Cyberdyne.
reinforces clear lack of experience in media, not to mention a litany of factual misstatements and quite a few proposals that Disney is already implementing.
So when they listen to him, it's because he's stupid. The idea that Bob Iger, oh, well, we were going to do this stuff. The good ideas we were already going to do. Okay. Why did it take you so long to do them? Bob Iger has been the CEO of the Walt Disney Company for 20 years, except for 11 months when he was not at the company. There was a brief period when he was executive chairman, and Bob Chapek was like a puppet CEO. And when that puppet started to disagree with him, all of a sudden he's back at the company. So what are all these changes that you are making that you couldn't have made beforehand? That's
the big question. I mean, they have been forced to act essentially because of this proxy battle, and to do stuff that they should have done before, quite frankly. And another thing that I just want to point out again, this video could be 2 hours if we cited every single time that they said something they shouldn't have said. So right here, they're pointing out 80% of cost savings are growth oriented, and none of this. 20% of cost savings are true overhead. All of these are initiatives to grow the company. So they have killed initiatives to grow the company in order to stave off Peltz and say that they have they've come up with ways to save money. None of those are lasting. And also one of Peltz's best points, in my opinion, is that corporate is too bloated at Disney, which correct. Yep. It's a pretty good point there. I'm going to say that. All right, let's continue. We've only got about 20 seconds of this thing left. All right.
Nelson Peltz and Jay Rasulo threatened to jeopardize the incredible.
You notice they're always making the same face in the pictures that they have found. By the way, Jay Rasulo was behind the turnaround at Disneyland Paris. He turned it from Euro Disneyland over to Disneyland Paris. He's part of the reason that Shanghai ended up working. By the way, is Deadpool 3, is that the turnaround that Walt Disney and his great family company needs right now?
Well, according to the family, maybe they're putting their support behind Iger right there. Right. Like you said, Jay Rasulo, he taught himself French over 2 years in order to run that area of the company more successfully and more efficiently than it had been run in the past, and did a Herculean task to get that back on track. And the company increased its investment. Also, its stake in that area right there in Disneyland Paris itself. So the idea that Jay Rasulo, he's washed up, he's an analog clock in a digital age kind of thing. It's ridiculous to assume that.
Right. Disney is a company that wants to trade on its 100-year history, but also wants to pretend like that 100-year history doesn't matter. They really want to pretend that the company started in 2005 or so with the second coming of Bob Iger.
They're absolutely 100%.
So
progress the company has made.
By the way, that's Planet of the Apes, an acquired property
As Bob returned.
Oh, and of course, Deadpool is acquired as well. Is that
There you go.
that's the 1 minute roller coaster over there in the Hong Kong park.
Yes, the overbuilt, overthemed 1 minute roller coaster is essentially,
As CEO, at this critical moment, we simply cannot let that happen. The choice is clear. Vote Disney.
All right. Well, there you have it. Company saved, guys. If you vote, wait. Let's see. Other YouTube channels never tell you to like and subscribe, but when you're here on That Park Place, it's your civic duty to vote That Park Place. I don't understand this company. They can't trade in truth. So what are we supposed to do with this? This is overly emotional. This is not serious. This is political gamesmanship rather than showing up with data. As I jokingly said in the other video, but it's true. In God we trust. All others bring data. Vash, are you going to vote on the white card, or are you gonna vote on the blue card? I don't think you have shares. I'm just messing around here. Do you have any thoughts before we wrap this up?
Anybody who loves this company's got to vote blue on this one right here, because it is clear that this board has let down its shareholders and has let down the company with this flip-flopping of his executives like they have been, like this basically being a rubber stamp for anything that Bob Iger wants to do and not taking a critical eye. And anybody who does take a critical eye at what Iger is doing, like Susan Arnold, for example, has been forced out of the company. We need a little bit of balance here. We need a little bit of people who are just like, hey, look, listen, we are 100% focused on Disney. A lot of these guys aren't, by the way. Mary Barr's got her own problems over there at CEO. Mark Park, CEO of GM. Mark Parker has his own problems.
He's the executive chair of Disney and of Nike. Right now. So
it's like, can we have people on the board that are singularly focused on the company and increasing shareholder returns and doing it in a long kind of a long view sustainable way? That's the proposal that Nelson Peltz and Jay Rasulo have presented, and honestly, there's really no reason why not. I think their terms are reasonable, and the fact that Disney is doing all of this in order to prevent them from getting on there should tell you a lot.
I fully agree with you. And if I were a person at the Walt Disney Company right now, I would be producing my own, not Value Act. I would be producing my own white paper on my own company in order to defend it, instead of these overly emotional videos with cartoon ducks in them. That's the other one. They got Ludwig von Drake to tell you to vote with the white card instead of the blue card. This company does not respect you as a shareholder. Nelson Peltz is coming with 133 pages of data. I don't know any other way to put it. Of course, if you have enjoyed this deep dive into a political attack ad by the Walt Disney Company, by the way, if you were somebody that wanted Disney to come out against Ron DeSantis, they're much more worried about Bob Iger staying at the top of that company than they were about whatever that issue was. That being said, leave a comment if you have a comment, because I'm imagining maybe we had some inaccuracies in here, but we would rather you tell us in the comments what we said wrong. That being said, please consider subscribing to That Park Place for all the news that should be fun.
Thanks for watching That Park Place News. For more information, consider checking out www.thatparkplace.com. And don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and send this out on your favorite social media accounts.